Many people ask the question, who unalive the king in a gruesome, what you call, assassination of a young artist that had the world in the palm of his hands? So, I am your host, Moses Anomaly. I am that I am. Death to life, murder mystery. When shit hits the fan, who will stop the fan from hitting the shit? Because revenge is, like the king said, the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. Well, we're going to hear a possible scenario and a true confession in a sense of that's what I believe happened and who did murder Tupac Shakur, the comforter of our people. That's what Shakur means. So, choke no joke, he was around in them times, and I know a lot of you kids are millennials, and you don't understand what's going on in the game. You just came in the game last night. But the truth of the matter is, we've been here, and there's still things to be solved and things to be done. So we're gonna go ahead and play you guys this. I don't know, some stupid guy out there trying to be an artist. The days of the artist is dead. So stop trying to be an artist. Be a revolutionary partner. All right? So here we go, guys. Get ready. You guys are gonna be surprised, but not surprised. Who's behind the unaliving of the greatest rapper or the greatest poetry, the greatest poet ever?
Like, this is your story. If it was like how you don't huge conversation around Tupac's assassination. I think it's a good way to call it assassination at this point. In that conversation, and in recent times, Keefy D.
Let's go back, guys.
I think it's a good way to call it assassination at this point. In that conversation, and in recent times, Keefy D was going around saying that he was there. He was putting himself there. He had since been locked up. In the latest update, they did an interview.
Roden Rat Jr., you government witness, you stinking fat, dirty pig. We know your days are numbered, brother. So get your depends in order, brother, because they coming for you. And I told y'all, Kiki D not going to go to jail for Reggie. Eventually, he's going to tell. And what happened?
We made a huge conversation around Tupac's assassination. I think it's a good way to call it assassination at this point. In that conversation, and in recent times, Keefy D was going around saying that he was there. He was putting himself there. He had since been locked up. In the latest update, they did an interview with him, and he's tearfully pleading like, I wasn't there. I wasn't even there. I don't know if he's just saying he was just bullshitting.
Right.
And a part of that story, you have Vlad coming out saying that he solved the Tupac murder.
Well, we know that's a lie now.
So let's get into it. Let's get into it. I was gonna mention Reggie Wright has been identified by Keefy D. I want to put that out there. You recently had that was part of your theory with us, that he had something to do with it. So
I told y'all, so all y'all watching that did not see the interview on Hype Plus, right? If y'all did not see everything that I broke down on the Tupac Shakur case, go back and watch it. We're going to kind of reiterate it a little bit here, but go back and watch it, because I told y'all. And now, what I told y'all back then is where we are today.
So Joe, starting with Keefy D retracting I guess his statements, as you mentioned, in like podcasts and everything. What is your thoughts about that?
I always felt like he was lying. Even when Vlad was interviewing him, because he was asking him stuff and he didn't know what the hell was in the book. You know, the writer was in the room. You know, he was asking him questions and he's like, huh? Where you get that from? Huh? Vlad's like, it's in the book. Huh? He talking to the right. Like, this is your story. If it was like, how you don't know your story? You know what I'm saying? Especially if you would have wrote the book. You know what I'm saying? Even if you was lying, you would remember that if you wrote it. So I knew right there that this dude is lying. He's making this up. Right? So, and then everybody kept saying Orlando Anderson was the shooter. Well, we know Orlando Anderson wasn't the shooter because Orlando shoulder got kicked out the socket. He went to the hospital, and it was said that by the time he left the hospital and got back to the hotel, they had him on surveillance camera at the bar with Corey Edwards in them at the time of the shooting.
Okay.
Right? And remember, Corey Edwards' infamous line, the eye in the sky don't lie. How could have Orlando been there when the eye in the sky got us at the bar? Okay. So we knew it wasn't him, right? Okay. Vlad said he solved it, right? But more recently, Suge Knight just did an interview, right? Okay. Let me hear you, let you hear what Suge said.
And what outlet was this on?
This is on the Art of Dialogue.
Make sure we get it in their credit.
Yeah, shout out to the Art of Dialogue. So what happens is in this clip is the Art of Dialogue asked Suge Knight, did he see the shooter that shot him and killed Tupac, and did they work for Death Row? Orlando Anderson never worked for Death Row, Vlad. Okay? So let's get this from Suge real quick, and then we'll get back into this more. And we using this under fair use.
I ain't trying to step on their toes, you know? No, that's just facts. So let me ask you this, right? The shooter, the person who shot Tupac, did you get to see their face? And was this a person that worked for Death Row? Yeah. What I would say is this. I'm not calling a certain person Judas. Or his names could go with those people are Judas. I know it was more than one person involved in the assassination. And respectfully, I would say that I gave the husband, I gave the wife, and by the way, they're black people. I stand on my blackness because I am black.
Anyway, what he's saying is a doc coming out, and he gave this husband and wife, I guess, his version of what happened, and I guess we'll see who he names when that doc come out, if he names them. But the point is, he said it was more than one person involved in the assassination. He said he saw the shooter, and the shooter works for Death Row. Orlando Anderson, Keith E.D.,
Right.
T. Brown,
Right.
Dre,
Right.
none of them worked for Death Row.
Right. Now you had already put a name out there, I believe. No? Did you in our last conversation?
No, I didn't put a name out there, but according to statements that people made,
yeah,
they may have implicated themselves.
Right. Now make sure we kind of update the audience. You had a theory that there was a car that stopped in front of Pac's car.
No, that's not no theory. Suge Knight said that Reggie's boy, K-Dub, cut him off in the crosswalk. That's not a theory. That's
couldn't let him go through the light. Blocked him off, right?
Yeah, stopped at the light. That's in the Suge Knight documentary, American Nightmare. Yeah, he says that to Antoine Fuqua, that Reggie's boy cut him off at the last minute and blocked him in. And then the other guy, Trayvon, was on his left.
Right.
But then, you know, K-Dub says that after the shots went off, he looked up in his rear view mirror and he can see Tupac trying to jump in the back seat and smoke all in the car. Then he got out his car and went around the car on Pac's side and walked up to the car and asked Tupac, was he okay? Allegedly. And Tupac no, it ain't no allegedly. He said that. And Tupac just looked at him. It kind of gives you the impression of the last pic when Pac is like this. Mm-hmm. It make you feel like he was looking at K-Dub or somebody took his picture, right? And then he said he looked over to Suge and was like, Suge, you all right? And Suge was like this, stunned, just holding the steering wheel. And then he said he went back to his car, jumped in his car, and took off.
Okay. And I said, allegedly from a lens of, this is according to K-Dub's accounts, that's what happened.
There's no allegedly. That's what he told Ben Crump.
Right. What I'm saying, that's what he said, but we don't know what really took place. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what K-Dub said. Oh, I was checking on them to see if they were.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. That's so what he's saying.
Right.
You said allegedly he was checking on them, but you said allegedly he could have been shooting.
Could have been doing some other things or XYZ.
Yeah.
And I don't know, so you mentioned K-Dub, I think he did work for, or was a part of the Death Row space.
He works for Death Row.
Okay.
He's still with Snoop today.
What was the motive to take out Pac? Not saying that that's who did it, but what was even the motive? It was just who would order that? Who would want that?
What would be the it depends on who.
Because I saw from a level Suge maybe had one. I saw that aspect because people saying like he was trying to go to Quincy Jones, so I could see that.
Well, you got it. All right. It depends on who you feel is responsible to say what the motive was. Now, if you're saying it was Suge, what would Suge motive be?
I feel like he had more of a motive, but I don't think that's him in the case how we see this thing playing out.
Why do you feel he has more of a motive?
Because based off what I heard, it was like Pac was going to leave, and I hear how these people that sign these artists have the insurance. They have like their insurance.
Suge did have an insurance claim with Laws of London. He had an insurance policy allegedly on Tupac for $51 million. And
so that's just a natural thing of like, law and crime. Like it could have been like this person. I'm not saying or think that it should, but I see that he would be a person in that equation that would have a motive.
All right, let's go with the Suge Knight motive, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people do believe Suge Knight had Tupac killed, right?
Okay.
For me, it's hard to believe that with him sitting in the car because bullets go through people. And if you think that you're going to be holding niggas as a shield for niggas to shoot them and think that the bullets it's not going to go through them and hit you, you're a risky dude. You've never been around niggas getting shot. Bullets go through people. Them shits go through trees sometimes, right? So let's just go with Suge Knight, right? Mm-hmm. If I wanted me being fair, right, I would say, all right, why would Suge want to kill Tupac? After the Snoop situation, with the Angie Martinez conversation on the radio, and he said he had no beef with Big and Puff. Mm-hmm. Pac, according to Michael Moore, tore up the limo, went to the hotel, went to Suge. Him and Suge had an argument. He told Suge right there he was leaving Death Row. He told Suge right there, yo, you can have Machiavelli, da-da-da-da-da, I'm out, right? Him and Suge was going to have a fight, allegedly, according to Michael Moore. Michael Moore broke it up. It was like, yo, even though, you paying me, I'm still his security. I can't allow you to do that. After that meeting, after that incident, they leave. Pac tells Michael Moore, yo, I'm a dead man walking, right? They go to Vegas. They get on the plane. The whole, prior to that, getting on the plane, allegedly Pac supposed to punch Snoop in the face at the hotel or whatever. Snoop tells the story how they got on the plane, stashed the fork and knife, boom. All of them go back to LA. Pac don't see any of them until the Vegas fight. Now they kept trying to get Pac to come back. He wouldn't come back. He wouldn't come back. He was saying that he was done. We know that he fired Reggie prior to the New York trip. And David Kenner, or after the New York trip. I'm not sure. But it was a couple of weeks before he got killed, right? They go back. Pac is telling his people he's done. There's talks of Suge and Pac also beefing during the set of Gridlock. Pac got a check for $700,000 for the movie, and I think allegedly Suge took it. And he's like, "Oh, this is all according to Gobi. That's all a part of an interview that's on the Art of Dialogue too, as far as me doing my research." So, financially, Pac had issues with Death Row, and there was talks about how Suge and Pac was arguing. So, according to Gobi and a few others, there was a beef between Suge and Pac prior to him dying. Okay. Allegedly. I don't know. So, if your theory is Suge did it, then, in my opinion, those would be the reasons. Okay. Financial stuff, right? And Pac told him how he leaving. But then you also got Pac going up to Death Row trying to steal him, not steal him, but take the music that he recorded that wouldn't be a part of his 3-album deal.
Right, the catalog.
Right. So that's another reason.
You, man.
So we got,
you know what I'm saying?
So that should.
Right. So
it was
another
taking a nap.
Potential.
Did he?
Put it on mute or something.
Right.
And we went through the whole Diddy situation with Pac, wanted to try to sign Pac. Pac ain't want to sign with Bad Boy. Jimmy Henchman, Puff and Jimmy together. Beef is on with them. We know they beef is real. You know the whole thing with Jimmy and Haitian Jack with the girl at the hotel. Pac said, yo, where these niggas at? They disappointed Pac. Pac get shot, go up into the car to see Diddy there with him, boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. Diddy allegedly making the proposal to the South Side for Pac and Suge, and then that whole situation with Diddy and the South Side, right? That could be the other situation. So either your way, Suge, the other way,
you got
Diddy.
the one that we've been told repeatedly, Pac fought somebody and then retaliated.
Then the other one's the Orlando Anderson theory. Right. Him jumping Orlando and Keefy D and retaliation, killing Pac. So you can say Suge, you can say Pac, you can say Diddy, or you can say the Southside Crips. Pick your choice.
How about the government?
I don't know.
Okay. So which one do you believe? I would say the Diddy one. You did a whole story on it, but
I believe my ultimate belief, without going all into the details all over again, because it's gonna take too long. My synopsis for it is this. I believe that, according to what Gene Dale said, with D-Mac telling Diddy that his Southside and his Grape Street dudes will take care of Pac and Suge for him if they need it. I believe that theory. I believe that Diddy made the offer to Keefy D. I believe Keefy D went to Reggie, because they both Crips, Reggie and Keefy D, right? And the fact that D-Mac said his Southside and Grape Street, Southside is Keefy D, Grape Street is Reggie, right? According to Reggie's federal paperwork. He's a great street crip, right? I think them two, if you look at the KPD's federal paperwork in '98, he implicated Reggie was running the North Compton drug trade while he ran the South. He alleges that Reggie, Trayvon, K-Dub, Marv James, Buntree, some dude named, I think, Flip, allegedly all was working with selling drugs with Reggie, right? So, once again, Trayvon and Reggie's connected again. And, whether they were selling drugs or not, but we know Reggie, Trayvon, K-Dub all from the same neighborhood. They all from Death Row, this time and third.
Wow.
Right? I believe KPD went to Reggie, right?
To get hearing from Diddy.
After, I told him the proposal he got from Diddy, $1 million, being that Reggie was already fired, Kenner was already fired, Suge was hit that they stole 20, 30 million from his accounting firm, right? Snoop, the beef was lit with Snoop, right? Snoop and Pop wasn't going back in the studio or doing shows or anything after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Pac allegedly swung on Snoop. So his beef, we know Snoop told his crew don't go out there, right?
I heard something about a walkie-talkie in Snoop.
Snoop had the walkie-talkie, the same walkie-talkie that security had in Vegas. Warren G said they could hear what was going on with Pac and the commotion over Snoop's walkie-talkie, right? We know Snoop and Diddy are like this, and have been like this since Pac and Big's death, right? Pac had an issue with Snoop, Pac had an issue with Diddy. They got a common enemy together.
So it seems like his enemies linked up to conspire against him. It's like, look, we all gonna win. We all be happy.
Not only that, Snoop bodyguard, Kevin Gaines, off-duty LA police officer, was fucking Sharitha. That was Sharitha's boyfriend.
That's Suge's name.
Right. And allegedly, Suge had a confrontation with Kevin Gaines, who gives him motive to want to do something to Suge. And he's also working in Vegas on a special assignment the same day Pac and Pac and Suge got shot.
So it just seemed like...
So basically the blue side took out the red side, allegedly.
But, so was Suge supposed to die as well in that car?
Yeah. And when they didn't kill him, what did they do? Sent him to jail. Suge didn't get violated for fucking beating up Orlando Anderson. Suge got violated because he went out the country. And Reggie and Kenner told him he was clear, allegedly. Suge leaves, he come back in, they violate him. We ain't say you could leave the country.
So Reggie was just on Vlad, and he denied KPD's recent kind of like pointing the finger at him and his name getting tied up into it.
He didn't deny it.
It seemed like he was distancing himself from it.
Yeah, maybe. But when Vlad asked him, why did you kill Tupac? He never said, I didn't kill Tupac. He just rambled on and took the conversation somewhere else. He never said, I didn't kill Tupac.
Is Reggie kind of think moving off just the street code to deny, I'm not going to tell names, I'm just going to keep... Because I think it's interesting that this person is on the internet even talking.
Oh, Reggie?
Yeah. Like, why? Is it a money thing?
No. He's deflecting. He's trying to
rewrite
No. He's trying to get the sin off his trail.
By being online?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have
What
thought.
he never expected was Suge to be able to hear the shit that he's saying,
right,
and respond to it. And for years, he was on the internet just sitting there and telling stories. But remember, Reggie's a fucking rat. Rodent Rat Jr. You government witness. You stinking fat Compton dirty pig. You a rat, and we know it. You was a foreman for Phil Carson, a federal agent. You was a rat for Greg Caden. You got Teresa Swan immunity. You have immunity in the Biggie case, and you try to set Suge up to get convicted on the Biggie case. Roden Rat Jr., you fat funky pig. We know your days are numbered, brother. So get your depends in order, brother, because they coming for you. Best believe we allegedly know you're behind the murder of Tupac Shakur, and your days are being numbered. And don't think because Keefe D is locked up that you can't be arrested too, because you will be. It's just a matter of time.
I don't know where else to take that part of the conversation when it comes to the latest around Tupac.
Well, the latest is that Reggie Wright, like I said, when was that? That was a year ago, right?
Not a year.
It was 2024?
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, last year. I told y'all that Reggie was behind that, allegedly. And I told y'all, Keefe D not gonna go to jail for Reggie. Eventually he's gonna tell. And what happened? He told. And it's only a matter of time because they got investigators and they will find out. Reggie's inconsistency alone, his inconsistencies alone, his lies alone will convict him. I can't wait for him to get on the stand. That is going to be the greatest goddamn show on television, is him and Gene Deal when they got to testify. When these two dudes get on the stand, man, you talk about the funniest. Well, we ain't gonna get to see Gene because that's a federal case. There's no cameras in the courtroom. But Keefe D and seeing Reggie, oh man, and look for Wack to get locked up too.
So was there a car that actually pulled up to the side of them?
Yes.
Was Keefe D in that car?
No.
Was that Orlando Anderson in that car?
No.
So on this theory, they just placed them there and said these are the people that were there. How did they get their names get identified with that car?
Reggie told Greg Caden, Southside killed Biggie in retaliation for killing Tupac. So when Greg Caden went and investigated Keefe D, he found out that Keefe D was at the party with Biggie. So he couldn't have killed him. So he double backs on Reggie. You lied to me.
So they just been pushing a lie the whole time?
Yes. So Reggie go, oh, no, it was Poochie. Poochie did it. Teresa Swan set it up with Suge. Greg Caden, dumbass, gives Reggie immunity for telling him this bullshit story. So then Reggie tells Greg Caden what happened in Vegas. Reggie gave them that story, bro. When Greg Caden came to Keefe D and said, hey, y'all killed Tupac, this is what happened. He pulls the board down. Listen to Keefe D interview. They came to me and they pulled the board down. They showed us where we were sitting in the car. They got that from Reggie. Reggie told his father within the hour of the shooting who killed Tupac.
Okay. What baffles my mind is I'm locked in on Keefe D. Is he just like a liar or just not intelligent?
Not intelligent. Reggie got him to do those interviews.
Okay, because he's been pushing. If we're saying if this is Keefe D cracking now, under the guise of, hey, you're not gonna see your grandkids no more. This is a wrap, and this is him saying the jig is up. I was never there. This is all bull crap. This is what's going on. But before that, he was pushing out a whole lie the whole time.
Yes. You never seen Orlando Anderson do an interview?
No, I thought he got killed, right?
Yeah, he got killed. But before he died, you never seen Orlando Anderson interview?
There was a deposition I think I saw.
That's one of them. Did he say he killed Tupac?
No, I don't.
What did he say? Y'all feel like I was the scapegoat, right?
Gotcha.
He didn't do it.
So Reggie was just out here, just like you said it under the guys under Reggie's. But I'm saying like
Reggie told his father Southside shot Tupac within the hour before he even seen Suge anybody.
So Keefy writing this book was part of just to clean up the paper trail? Like what was
His book was a copy of Greg Caden's murder rap. He felt like Greg Caden went and told his story and put him in the car and made all this fucking money off a documentary book. So I'm gonna go tell the story too. And make me some money and go tell interviews and this, that, and because if he told it and they ain't coming to arrest me, shit, I'm going to tell it to the damn story. And Reggie coached him into that allegedly, but Reggie's definitely the one who set him up to do the interviews on all 3 platforms that he did because he's stupid. I'll take that back. He's not intelligent. He let Reggie play him. So what Reggie did was let him go and put the body on himself, knowing the real story because he called his father and told him who did it before. It is 30 years later. We don't know who did it. How Reggie knew within the hour he wasn't at the fight and he wasn't in the caravan. Because he's making up an alibi to cover up who really did it. Because the person who did it, what Suge just said, worked for Death Row. He saw him. He worked for Death Row.
To make sure I, myself, and the viewers understand this side of the coin. We named potential motives. We explored Suge Knight possibly being the one to do it, and we kind of both agree like that's probably not where it's at. Because it is very risky to say, yo, come shoot up the car that I'm in. That's bold as hell. There's another way to get at somebody if you wanted to get Pac out the way. Okay, then we mentioned the conspiracy that we've been told over the years. Orlando Anderson, Pac fighting, and then they retaliate, pull up on him, shoot up the car. Cool.
Then that makes sense because remember, Reggie lied about the chain story. He even told Frank to lie about the fucking chain story. That chain, there was a bounty on the Death Row chain is a lie. K-Dub tells that story himself. That's a lie. It was never no bounty on no goddamn Death Row chain.
Gotcha.
That was an alibi for people, for Trayvon to go tell Pac whatever he told him to make Pac go run up on Orlando.
Right.
Because where the fuck was Keefy D at? Why was Keefy D at? Nobody else standing around Orlando.
And I thought that it was weird that Orlando was like randomly there. Okay.
They set it up.
Was maybe Orlando, maybe what you call it? A lookout.
He was the decoy. That was all planned, man. You could look at it and tell it was planned.
Right. To get Pac.
And then you got some dude that come looking like Reggie, probably Reggie uncle or somebody, come walk Orlando right out of there. No.
To get. Okay. So now we have this theory that involves Reggie, that involves Diddy, allegedly. Diddy is now looking to get Pac and Suge out of here, just because of the beefs they were having, whatever, just how things form. We need to get them out of here. From that, there's a conversation somewhere Keefy D is contacted directly by Diddy, or is there somebody maybe get to Keefy D? How did that?
He was hanging with them. They was being the homeboy security for him.
Okay.
So they was around him.
So Diddy might be venting. I want to get the cats out of here. And he probably like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, allegedly that's how it went, yeah.
I can maybe make that happen.
D-Mac, allegedly, yeah.
Talk for some noise.
Yeah.
And then some prices is named.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like a nigga price. Like $1 million, just some wild shit.
Yeah.
And so now, from there, Keefy goes into Reggie, who's inside or connected to the camp.
And also Keefy D is cool with Marv James. Marv James' girl got Keefy D cars and stuff in her name. They cool like this. Marv James hates fucking Suge. Marv James lived allegedly with Keefy D for like 7 years in Vegas. Marv James still rocks with Keefy D's son. And Marv James is the one that wanted to rob Suge. And him and Keefy D's like this. And him and Reggie's like this. You don't see the connection?
And I see the aspect of the potential of Keefy D going to Reggie, someone that was connected to Pac, and be like, look, I have an offer on the table. I can get us X amount of dollars if we take care of this situation.
Yep.
And then from there, the dominoes kind of fell in order. And then Reggie became allegedly the person to orchestrate the whole thing.
He called himself the orchestrator. He said, I don't get my hands dirty. I orchestrate.
So at the end of the day, this was spilled off of hate and a come up.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like Pac probably just like, niggas just hate
You see Reggie wanted to be Suge? You see how he bragged about how he ran the label and all this other shit? Yeah, nigga. Yes.
And
Yes. Constant lies. He goes to the grand jury, testifies in the grand jury, and lies and say that Keefy D pointed a gun at him at the Soul Train Awards, knowing it was C. Gutter. He talked about that 2 years ago on YouTube, that it was C. Gutter, and went last year to that goddamn grand jury and testified that Keefy D pointed a gun at him, knowing it was C. Gutter. Then he goes to the grand jury and brings Dirt Dog and all these other people to testify, and don't bring Trayvon Lane or K-Dub to testify. Why? And he didn't do it? Right.
is there any message to Vlad directly? Because it seemed like Vlad was trying to take your glory a little bit of like, he said he solved the case.
No, I took his glory by showing him he didn't solve the case.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this teaser. You can watch the full interview right now at hypersclub.com, along with more behind the scenes and additional content.
If any of y'all believing that Vlad solved the Tupac murder, y'all got it wrong.
It seems like we at least got some answers around Tupac's murder, and we're going to get into that.
Right.
But Biggie's is still unsolved, right?
Correct. Technically, both of them. But Biggie's, yeah. You had Reggie Wright Jr., who was the leading suspect in the Biggie murder at the time Russell Poole died and was investigating this case.
Okay.
When he showed, with the day he died, his theory was, allegedly, Reggie Wright Jr. had something to do with the killing of Notorious B.I.G. He was the lead person on the case.
Okay.
Right? Now, when you get to the meat and potatoes of it, it is said that David Kenner and Reggie hired David Mack, Perez, and them to allegedly kill Big, right? Now, when you go down that rabbit hole, you know, to make a long story short, after Russell Poole dies, right, Gray Caden comes on, right? This is the guy that did Murder Rap.
Okay.
Gray Caden continues the investigation, and he starts off with Reggie. Reggie spins him and tells him Southside killed Biggie in retaliation for not getting their money for the death of Tupac, for the hit on Tupac, right? Now, that begins the chase, right? So, Gray Caden and the LAPD task force got the Biggie case now. They go to Reggie, who's their suspect. He tells them Southside did it, right? Because they didn't get their money for killing Tupac. That's how all this leads back to Diddy, right? Because Reggie told Greg Kaden that Keefy D and them killed Biggie because they didn't get their money for killing Tupac, right? That's where Gene Deal comes in, because he tells the world that he saw the check. That Zip told him that he got the check for the hit on Tupac. He tells Doggy Diamonds that, right? I saw the check.
Who the heck is writing the check for a hit, though?
Well, according to Gene Deal,
I'm just thinking about if I were ever to do one, I wouldn't.
That would be
no
done.
check.
Right. So according to Gene Deal, Zip told him that was the check for Pop's life, and that's what he told Doggy Diamonds. And that's where you can find that information, right? So Greg Kaden goes on a chase and he starts investigating Keefy D. He sets Keefy D up with a PCP ring with one of his boys, Dirt Rock, right? Who allegedly went and bought this PCP. That's how they got to question Keefy D. They got to catch you dirty, because if you ain't dirty and they come talk to you and you like, get out of here, then, they ain't got nothing to hold you on. So that's what they did. They set him up. Boom. That's where this whole prophet talk comes in with Keefy D. So what happens is Greg Kaden goes to Keefy D, right, and accuses him of killing Biggie.
Okay.
Now, what Greg Kaden didn't know was Keefy D was with Biggie that night at the Peterson Museum. They went and they met up with Puff, right? Puff gave him a couple of bottles of Cristal, according to Keefy D, and said, yo, the feds is all over us. Yo, fall back. You know what I'm saying? I'll holler at you later, right? So Keefy D tell Greg Kaden, get out of here. We was with Biggie that night. How the hell we killed him? We was there. So that leads to the conversation about Tupac, because Reggie tells him they killed Biggie to get their money for Tupac. So now Greg Kaden starts talking to him about the Tupac situation. Oh, yeah, well, y'all killed Tupac. What are you talking about, we killed Tupac? Yeah, this is how y'all did it. Now, according to Keefy D, when he first met with Greg Kaden, they got a board, they pull the board down, they show him how the car's set up, this, that, and the other. This is what happened, y'all killed Tupac, right? Now, he's got this whole story from Reggie.
Gotcha.
Right? Now, Reggie, how do you know how this whole thing happened with Tupac? Right? We'll get to that, right? So, Keefy D gives an involuntary statement about the Tupac situation being coached by Greg Kaden, who already got the story from Reggie, allegedly, right? Because how else would he know how this shit happened, right? So Keefy D is doing this, what they call the proffer, and where we hear on Murder Rap, where they talking about the Tupac situation. But as you can hear, a lot of the information is being fed to him, right, from Greg Kaden. So to make a long story short, Greg Kaden and Keefy D, he gets this proffer agreement, so they say, where now he can't be charged for the Tupac murder. So now he knows that they had nothing to do with Biggie's murder. He partially confessed to being at the Tupac thing. So now they double back on Reggie for the Biggie murder. You lied to us, motherfucker. Biggie had nothing, I mean, Southside was there with Biggie that night. Oh, no, you know what? It was Poochie. Now it's Poochie that killed Biggie, not Southside, for retaliation for not getting their money for which go. Now Reggie spins Greg Kaden ass the other way. Oh no, it's Poochie, right? So how is it Poochie? Well, Teresa Swan or Tammy Hawkins, whichever is her real name, right? But in Unsolved, they call it Teresa Swan. Their real name is Tammy Hawkins, right? Suge got her to come to the jail, and they set up the murder through Poochie, who nobody ever seen at the Peterson Museum, who has a beard like mine's, The Muslim dude just had a mustache, right? No beard or whatever. So Greg Kading, to secure the murder conviction on Biggie, this fool goes and write a fake statement that Poochie supposed to have wrote, confessing that he killed Biggie, right? He takes this fake statement and shows it to Teresa Swan or Tammy Hawkins. Poochie said he killed Biggie, and you said you helped him set up through Suge going to the jail, this, that, and the other, and stuff. He writes this lie, and she goes, "Yeah, that's the truth. Everything you said is the truth. Well, we're going to give you immunity. We want you to go up to the jail and get Suge to admit that he hired Poochie to kill Biggie, right? And we're going to give you full immunity to do this, right? Right there, the whole case should have been in the garbage. Why? Greg Kading, you just wrote a fucking statement for a dead man. Poochie's dead. He never wrote no statement. He wrote this statement knowing it's a lie. Brings it to her and said, Poochie said this. And this is what happened. He said you was involved. And she goes, yeah, anything Poochie said, that's the truth. Fine, well, we giving you immunity. We're going to get you to go into the jail. Why are you even going that far when you know if she's agreeing to this letter? You wrote this letter, dummy. You know she's lying. You wrote this fake statement. So if she's agreeing to it and she's telling you it's the truth, why didn't you tell her you're lying? You're going to jail. I wrote this up. This ain't even the fucking truth, girl. He sends her, gives her immunity, go and try to set up Suge. She goes on the wire to the jail to talk to Suge to try to get him to confess to some shit that never happened. So Suge never confesses to setting this up because he never set it up. So
That's it.
she comes back, they never get to